Yo, what is going on, 5-9 gamers? Welcome back once again to the Dokkan podcast. We are here for episode 53, Potara earrings and giant apes. So it is me, of course, your host, the Masked Ningen, and as always, I have some special guests with me this week to discuss all the goings on in this week's Dokkan Battle landscape. So first up, we have our boy Galeriot. How's it going, my dude?
Hello everyone, how's everybody doing today?
We have fellow global main DBZBlaze. What is up, my dude?
Yo, what's poppin'? What's up, everyone?
And of course, we have our boy Minato's Flash as well. How's it going?
Chain battle's better than World Tournament.
Woo! So Minato woke up today and chose violence, apparently. But that's a subject for another. I think we're gonna have to end up doing a video about that because that's a subject for a whole other time. So, but funnily enough, that is, of course, the first topic for the week. So the last part of the 350 million download celebration is upon us, which is, of course, the chain battle against the Namek Goku. This is pretty much the last thing that we're getting to end out the 350 million download celebration. So how have you guys been finding this particular version? So Minato, we'll start with you over on the JP version. How's your experience been with this one so far?
Honestly, not too bad, because the extreme class N is very, very easy to find good friends for, especially if you're like a higher rank player. Obviously, I'm like rank like 710 plus or something like that, so it's not hard to find some whale people on the guest list right there. And I would say it's honestly probably, I've seen a lot of people get some decent scores, at least 100 mil and stuff, so overall, it's been okay. You know, just another chain battle. Not as bad as other ones. Not like the greatest ever because it's chain battle, but yeah.
And what sort of score are you sitting on right now?
I think I hit like 124 million, I believe.
Okay.
There.
Is that still top 1% for JP?
Yes.
Okay, so looking pretty good. Gale, have you tried out much of this chain battle yet on the global side?
Yes, I have. I think I need to check again because I haven't logged in the last day pretty much. I'm logging in right now to check. I hit 121.5 million, probably the best I've had in a while. But to be fair, it does have an easily achievable like set of units you can get. I mean, especially on the extreme side, if you can nail the extreme side, you're pretty much good for the chain battle.
Yeah, the extreme side, I think I've seen some of the biggest numbers out of most of the chain battles for this one, because when you find that right all Frieza team, the top number's like 60 something, which is pretty good. So and Blaze, how about you? Have you cracked the top 1% as well?
Unfortunately, no. I'm in like the 2-3%. I mean, sorry, 3 to 4%.
Ooh.
Is it 2? No. How much is it? It's 3 to 4 or is it 2 to 3?
So it's just top 1 and then it'll be 2 to 3 is the next like tier.
Yeah, sorry, I'm in a 2 to 3%. I'm okay with it because it just took me 5 minutes and I just never looked back at it. So
fair.
It's pretty simple with extreme.
Yeah, so of course this is the first version of Chain Battle on Global that has the new type of skill orbs that are available as the reward. So Minato, obviously you guys have had those on JP before. Could you give us a brief outline of what exactly that is? So when we get the rewards at the end, what's going on with those?
Yeah, so, excuse me. Essentially what the rewards are, it's 20 of that currency. You spend 10 of the currency to get a guaranteed gold equipment. And so basically, if each chain battle, as long as you reach top 5%, I believe, you will get 20 of those. So you'll get 2 guaranteed gold equipments, which you can get pretty good ones like, you know, level 5 additional, 5 crits, the level 4 crit and additional, stuff like that. Though there are some like bad ones sprinkled in there. I think it's pretty good, honestly. Especially since you don't even have to hit like all the way at the top 1% to get those 2 guaranteed skill orbs. I think it's pretty cool.
Okay, well, there you go. So I believe coming very soon to the channel, those of you guys that are still struggling, we are in the process of sorting out a chain battle guide, I believe. Is that right, Minato? Have you guys actually recorded that yet? Or
Yes.
Oh, well, there you go. So that will be coming soon. So if you're still struggling, you still haven't made that top 1%, make sure you keep an eye out on the YouTube channel, the 5-9 Gaming Mobile. Make sure you are subscribed, and that video will be coming out very soon if you still need to hit that top 1%. So that is basically the wrap up, like we said, for the 350 million download celebration. The only thing we haven't seen yet is the Bulma support memory that was shown in the data download. So what do we think is the situation going on with that? Gail, do you have any thoughts about when or how we're actually going to get this support memory?
I assume it's the last day, once we're done with all of the, stones, maybe it'll be like an additional stage they'll add on top of the current Bulma's 10 stone a day thing. And that's where you get the support memory just off that, maybe, is my guess.
Yeah, either of you two others, do you have any ideas? Or do you think we're just going to get it as a gift now, since obviously it's pretty unlikely that they're going to drop a new event or something?
Yeah, I think it's going to be like part of that 30 stone thank you gifts that they give at the ends. We're like, thank you for your support. Here's 30 stones, orbs, and some and support memory would be cool. I think that's very possible.
Yeah. Okay, well, there you go. So that will wrap up the 350 million download celebration. We did talk about it last week, but overall, opinions on this celebration were pretty high. So pretty successful overall. And that, of course, leads both versions now to be moving off into new territory. So we will start off with the announcement that came out today and work backwards, I guess, as this was the most recent. So, of course, we got an announcement for JP that the upcoming Dokkan Fest, the next unit that will be released, is some version of Kefla. So, obviously, that took people by surprise quite a little bit. I've seen a lot of people tweeting about this being very unexpected. So, Minato, I'll go to you again first since you are our JP main. So, yeah, Kefla, what do you think? Are you hyped? Are you disappointed? What are your thoughts?
So I'm more so like taking aback. I was kind of surprised at Kefla. I look at the category team she buffs, and I feel like it kind of makes sense. For example, Full Power just got an Extreme Super Battle Road stage. Rapid Growth got a normal Super Battle Road stage. Stuff like that. So you can kind of see why Kefla makes a little bit of sense in terms of those stages coming out. Because they've been releasing units recently that buffs those categories, those stages, and stuff like that. I'm not really that excited for her, but I would wait personally to see what she actually looks like and what her details will be. Probably within the next like 24 or 48 hours or so, we should see those details. So overall, I'm like, but it's like she buffs categories that need help at the very least. I think I'm more excited for the stuff that can come in her celebration rather than the new Kefla herself, though.
So, Blaze, what are your thoughts on a new Kefla? Are you one of these people that hates the Universe 6 girls, or are you excited for a new Kefla unit?
I'm not. I'm in between. I'm much more interested about this Kefla because I'm also very shocked that Kefla is coming. But bringing her back does kind of, like Minato said, does introduce potentially new content where we can see like potential EZAs, right? LR EZAs, or even what I'm actually more excited is maybe physical Kefla, Super Saiyan 2, that's just been left out of the dust. I like to see her more get an EZA, that would kind of revival. But again, Kefla, like, if she can be better than Super Vegeta, who really knows? Because Super Vegeta already is a monster. So I'm not as hyped, but I'm very interested what she can bring to the table with Kefla.
And so, Gail, what are your thoughts? Do you think that we will see a straight up like Super Saiyan 1 Kefla? Will she also transform to Super Saiyan 2? Could we maybe see a Kale and Caulifla on their own who fuse? Or do you think that's like an LR worthy card? What do you think this Kefla is going to look like?
Well, I don't think it's going to be a fusing one, just purely because, if I'm not mistaken, it's a stage being added to an existing stage, and the fusing units usually get their own new event, right?
Yes.
They're never a stage that gets added, so that's out of the question already, unfortunately. I do believe, however, it should be SSJ1 because it's the only version we actually don't have as a fully TUR or anything of that sort. We obviously have SSJ2 with the physical one. We have base form as the STR one. Would be nice to get the middle ground so that we can actually link them. Link level, link update didn't really come in clutch there, or same name update by allowing us to link the same name units or the same transformation, unfortunately. But yeah, I think SSJ1 would be the best option. And what can I say? Fusion season is back. Got to get that 1 year of all fusions back again,
Fusion supremacy.
Track for that.
So obviously you mentioned SS1 Kefla would seem to make the most sense because that's the only one that we don't have a standalone for. So of course that brings up the age-old classic, for less of a better word, the physical Super Saiyan 2 Kefla. So if the time was ever right for her to get an easy A, is this going to be the time? What do you think, Blaze?
Absolutely. Kefla has just aged poorly with today's content, and this is the perfect time. I can't see any other time to actually easy A this character unless God knows, like I can't think of any other celebration for Kefla getting easy A. So this to me makes the most sense. Having a new Kefla, so I'm all over it, and I hope they make her super OP because she's kind of useful. She's an orb changer, but she really is lacking that attack and defense. So very excited. Hopefully we get her easy A.
Yeah, it definitely seems like the right time. She's quite an old unit now. She does have a category leader skill, but we could see her getting the same like leader skill upgrade as the UI Goku. So Minato, if physical Kefla is the super obvious one, who else do you think could possibly receive an easy A or an awakening who doesn't have one, anything like that, for a Kefla themed celebration?
I think there's a couple of options, excuse me, to really talk about. For one, I think the free-to-play Super Saiyan 2 Kaba, Kel, and Khalifa could get an Extreme Z area. I think we can see like the sub Easy A's for like, the God Gokus and that future Blue Goku from the UI Goku Easy A itself. And then I think we could also see maybe a Dokkan Fest Easy A still, since it's fusion themed. I know for sure we could definitely see like Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta Tech, you got an Easy A. Tech Vegito Blue, Physical Super Vegito. So one of those early kind of category leaders. Well, Tech Vegito Blue isn't one, but he's in that. You kind of get what I mean in the early meta. So I think that it would make a lot of sense for one of those guys getting an Easy A as well. Especially since they love just shoveling Easy A's out at us. I think we could definitely see a lot still.
Yeah, the last two celebrations we've had multiple Easy A's. So with the Namek Saga celebration, one of the biggest complaints that we saw was that the Easy A's that we got towards the end were not like Namek Saga themed. We of course got the Easy A for LR Bardock. So Gale, do you think that we will, if they do go ahead and do a category leader, do you think we will get one that is themed towards the celebration, or will it be an older unit that doesn't really fit the theme? What are your guesses for this one?
Well, it depends because there can be a link or not a link. Kind of like how Minato said, right? It could be SJ for Gogeta, but if the celebration's Universe 6 themed, it's not necessarily, apart from the time limit link, there's no link between the two. So it's not impossible. They could just go, haywire and just throw out like Ultimate Gohan if they really wanted to, for example. I'd prefer it because I prefer them doing Easy A's for the units that need it the most, first and foremost, rather than units that don't. But I think they'll probably follow a certain pattern. I feel like, like Minato said, I think SJ for Gogeta is the likeliest option, I feel, because the time limit fusion thing works well. So, yeah, I think it'll be something they'll stick to. But they could also throw a bit of a twist there and shove SR Ultimate Gohan or something. I don't know.
Tech hit.
I was just going to say, hear me out.
As well?
Tech hit. There is a unit
he does need it. He does very much need it as well, yes.
Yeah, he is a newer unit compared to some of those other category leads. But yeah, he fell off rather quickly. So if there was ever a unit that does need an Easy A, I think it's probably him.
He fell off on launch pretty much. Let's be real.
Hey, Truth.
Yeah, it was not long after
so
he came out.
Much.
Truth got the no item rapid growth run with him, so don't underestimate.
Exactly.
Yeah, there you go. So yeah, would definitely be interesting to see. But so speaking of hit though, that is of course the other question that I'm sure we'll talk about on a later episode because we're not even in part 1 of that celebration yet, let alone the lead up to part 2. But that obviously raises people to speculate about what the part 2 LR will be. And I've already seen some people mention, I believe LR hit was one of the things that was mentioned on that legendary election from way back when, that they seem to have slowly but surely been checking off. So, Blaze, do you think there's any potential chance we could see a part 2 LR hit? And is that something that you yourself would be excited for?
I don't know. It depends how they make him, right? Because we have a history of the hit characters, and really the only really good one that stands out would be the 50% support SDR hit because he stacks defense. But it's been 10,000 years since we got those support units, right? So
True.
Like it really depends how they make him, right? Because like there's other characters, like for example Videl, right? She's not an LR, but she's a Dokkan Fest that's just really OP. So it really comes down to the design of the character. But I mean, am I hyped that because it's gonna be hit as an LR. Maybe. To be honest, I can't say I'm hyped about it. I'm just kind of neutral about it. Like it all depends what he brings to the table with his passive, with his super attack. Would be nice to see maybe like a very cool mechanic with his time skip. Maybe that might be like a nullification. Who really knows? But you know, we might just see with the design. But I think he has enough to bring the hype to become an LR for sure.
Minato, what do you think? Are you hyped for a hit? Because I know a lot of people are fans of hit in general, but like Blaze said, we don't really have a history of getting good hit cards outside of the 50% support.
I think I would like a hit, but what I would also like to see, rather than just a standalone hit card, is a hit and Super Saiyan God Goku duo card. I think that could be pretty cool. Like, you know, maybe if there's some mechanic where they switch back and forth, they'll have pretty solid links for like these universe, you know, Survival Saga LRs, like where you have like Infighter, Shocking Speed, Perfect Battle, Legendary Power, kind of stuff like that. And honestly, it's one of my kind of favorite moments of the Tournament of Power where Hit and God and Goku work together. I just thought it looked really cool, and the aesthetic of the card would be pretty cool too.
Yeah, I think definitely that could be pretty cool. And also, I think the physical free-to-play hit doesn't have a TUR awakening, so yeah, who knows?
That's true.
Actually, I looked at him, and he can actually be pretty good. And he has like a semblance of being, because he's a Rainbow Orb Changer.
Yeah.
So that could be interesting to see what he does post awakening.
And then I did see somebody in the chat. Imagine if we get an easy A for LR, Kale, and Kefla.
That could
what
be
would
a
they
possibility.
even do? What would they even do? Just add stacking attack and that's it.
Yeah, just make all the numbers
Basically.
bigger, and they go back to being best unit in the game, and people get mad. So
No, people will say they're not the best unit in the game.
true.
That's what will happen.
That is-
If they did get an easy A, do you think they would be better than STR Broly? If they got an easy A?
Depends on how
Maybe.
much they go, how far they go with
Yeah.
them, because they could easily just do what they did with Goku and Frieza and barely improve them.
Yeah, well, because for
the thing
longer
is,
longer
Broly-
form content, obviously their defense gets so high that
Yeah.
I guess it depends. If they added stacking attack as well, even if that was like the bare minimum, that would definitely make them incredibly powerful. So, but yeah, so Kefla is going to be the next Dokkan Fest exclusive released on JP. Very interesting to see what we could get with her. We talked about the easy A's. What about side banner units? Because obviously, if we're getting a Super Saiyan 1
I know.
Kefla, I talked about this earlier in my own video. We don't really want a repeat of what they did with the Namek Goku banner, where Goku's side banner unit was obviously Piccolo, and they don't link up super well. So we talked about him as an LR. We definitely, I would say, probably don't want to see Hit as a side banner unit on a Kefla banner. We probably want that to be a Saiyan, right? So, Minato,
Yeah,
who would you
sure.
pick for
Okay.
the side banner unit?
So, when it comes to the side banner unit, I think there's two options. One, Super Saiyan 2 Kappa, I think is a very good option because we haven't had a summonable version of him. And we only have one version of him that came out like, 2018? Also, by the way, I think it's going to be Super Saiyan 2 Kefla. I just kind of want to throw that out there. I think that's the most likely option. But outside of him, I think we could see Blue Kaioken Goku as well with his shirtless form, like from the LR, Blue Goku and Evolution Blue Vegeta. I think we'll see the one from when he's fighting Kefla. Like, what if we see where he's fighting Kefla, right? And then he has a transformation to UI sign somehow or something like that. That could be interesting. That could be really cool.
I feel like that's something they would probably not just use for a side banner unit. That seems pretty hype.
Who knows? It does, but I feel like a Kaioken Goku definitely would make a lot of sense when in regards to the fights. Maybe he's a part 2 LR, but I mean, who knows? We'll have
True.
to wait and see, I guess.
So, Gale, who would you pick for a side banner unit for Kefla?
I'm gonna throw a bit of a curveball out there. You know, you said about Piccolo. How about the Namekians from Mu6? Why not?
That's actually not bad, actually.
It helps out the Namekians. I
Yeah.
mean, yes, it wouldn't help out Kefla herself, but I mean, let's be honest. There's so many Kale and Cauliflas anyways available in the game that are good right now anyway. So
True.
why not throw a bit of a curveball out there? Give Namekians a bit of love. The U6 Saiyans, why not? Give it a bit of a difference. Just a bit of a difference.
Yeah,
Just have them give 6 key and 66% attack defense universe.
yeah. Well, why not?
Why not? Why not? Sure. You know what? Go for it.
And then Blaze, what are your thoughts for the side banner unit?
I was gonna go with the obvious. The obvious with the Super Saiyan 2 Kaba, but I don't know. Like, I was thinking this is completely way off, by the way, right? Because as you guys know, like for example, Zamasu, they took his art for his super attack from the manga. So I was thinking maybe like a Gohan, Ultimate Gohan, that but supports like the Universal Survival Saga. But that's just like completely left thinking. But it would be pretty interesting because they actually do fight in the manga, right?
Yep. Yeah,
Which
Gohan
I think
and
was a draw.
Yes, sir.
yeah, I believe Gohan and Kefla, they eliminate each other, don't they? So
Yes.
Exactly.
yeah, that could definitely be interesting.
Yeah, because the one we have here so far, right, from the 6-year anniversary, they're okay. They're not the best banner units, but I would like to see another Ultimate Gohan get some love here.
Yeah, I think if it is a Super Saiyan 1 Kefla, I believe we don't actually have proper summonable standalone Super Saiyan 1 Caulifla or Kale, so that could be an interesting one. I do think we probably want to see more like what we got with the Freezer banner, where we have a unit that links up super well as I assume probably going to be a 40% support for either a new category that the Kefla brings or an existing one. If they were both Super Saiyans, could be a 40% support for Super Saiyans. That would be pretty crazy. So
That would be.
but yeah, so Kefla Celebration coming up on JP. Obviously, once we get more details, we'll be putting out videos on the mobile channel. Obviously, we'll talk about it more in detail on next week's episode when we know more. So moving on from JP, obviously we have the big news on Global, which came in the form of the producer letter. So shout out to Koho. Koho Supremacy continues, and we are going into the next celebration here with a global exclusive. So the first thing that was mentioned is we are getting Extreme Z Awakenings for 3 of the Great Ape units, the AGL Extreme Vegeta, the STR Raditz, and the Physical Kid Goku. So Blaze, Global Main, what are your thoughts? This is pretty surprising turn of events. So what do you think about the Easy A's for these guys? What could we possibly see from them?
I'm very shocked. I'm actually pretty happy with the surprise, right? From these Easy A's, from these 3 characters, I think they deserve a lot. They need to make them very OP because these characters are very old. If you take a look at their passive, it's very, very bad. I think they came out, 2018 or 2017. I'm not too sure, but they need, because as you know, we are getting Extreme super bad for the giant form, and we already know that stage is extremely tough. So these characters, which are buffing also the giant form category, they need to be able to kind of hold their own and support the team. So I'm hoping that Goku and also Vegeta, since they have so many categories, that those 2 cards will be like the most powerful for the Easy A's. And also, if they do transform, I am hoping that we do get that key +1 mechanic, because giant form, it is a struggle sometimes when trying to get that 12 key super. So I'm hoping that maybe on their transform state, they can get that key +1 mechanic. Raditz, I'm okay with, but for Goku and for Vegeta, because they're on so many categories, I really do hope that these characters are going to be pretty OP.
Yeah, and the Vegeta especially definitely has potential, because obviously he is a unit that does have big bad bosses, so he definitely has potential for being on one of these other category teams and being very good. So you did allude to it a little bit there. Minato, I'll ask you, when it comes to the Easy A for like the actual Great Ape form itself, I think is where like that whole mechanic, I think for me personally, really needs like revamping completely, which is obviously not going to happen anytime soon. But with the Easy A for these characters, what would you want to see for the Great Apes?
For the Great Ape specifically, again, something similar to either the key +1 mechanic that they're getting, or something that could be interesting is maybe some type of like rainbow orb changing, like some of these rage modes have. It could be very interesting to see how they look like Great Ape mode. I think I would prefer Raditz though to be the best one, because I think we'll get definitely Great Ape Vegeta and Great Ape Kid Goku Dokkan Fest. I think maybe we can get Raditz Dokkan Fest in the future, but probably not a Great Ape Raditz.
Yeah.
So I'll prefer Raditz to be the one that's best, so that he outages the other 2, because all the other 2 will eventually probably get Dokkan Fest exclusive units.
And then Gale, what are your hopes for these Great Ape EZAs?
I agree with Minato. I hope Raditz is the best purely because, like he mentioned, Great Ape Vegeta is very likely to come with a Saiyan Saga celebration at some point, inevitably, if they ever decide to do it. They finally heard us about the Planet Namek Saga. Can we move on to Saiyan Saga, please? And Great Ape Kid Goku as well, if they ever decide to revisit Dragon Ball in their lifetime, that would also be possible. But, how unlikely it is as of late, that's a different topic for another day. But yeah, Raditz seems to be the least likeliest to get any units. I would like Raditz to be the best as well. And it definitely seems like they're obviously helping out Giant Form. And I also do believe, like, at the same time, it's also because, I feel like they're probably bringing back Intestate for Gogeta. So I think this is obviously to help out in Giant power category. So I think that's also the reason why they're doing this. But yeah, I'm really hoping Raditz is the best just purely because of that. And shout out to the boy Choco's cat, of course. Raditz, gotta support the boy. And I would appreciate Raditz being the best as a result.
Yeah, because I think the other two seem like they're pretty much a blank slate because they don't really have much of a passive to speak of at the moment. Whereas Raditz obviously is Raditz has that nuking style passive, so definitely if they slap some decent start of turn attack and defense on him and then he gets a decent percentage per orb, then obviously he could end up being very, very strong. What would be really cool to see is imagine if he kept that nuking style passive for the actual ape transformation as well. Because the big thing with the ape transformation, obviously, as we all know, like you don't get any links activated. So, of course, not only does that cause a key issue, but obviously you're missing out on all those attack links. And with the link level update, it kind of made the ape forms like even weaker because you're now potentially hitting lower attack stats than when you're not transformed. Now, obviously, the bonus is, of course, that you can't take damage for a couple of turns, which is very nice. But if you're doing way less damage than when you are untransformed, then it doesn't really feel very satisfying. So I think the big thing for me outside of like getting some key in their passive is I really want to see them have things like, like raises attack for 3 turns or something like that. Because obviously the apes, if you can get the orbs, they can super attack 3 times in 1 turn. That means they get multiple of those stacks in 1 turn, and then you can actually potentially start to deal some reasonable damage. So that is definitely something that I would be looking forward to seeing. And obviously this potentially opens the door for more great apes as well, like the Team Bardock. It'd be pretty cool to see them get an EZA as well. I believe when Tapion got his EZA, they didn't really do much to the actual Hirudegarn form, did they, post EZA?
Nope.
So...
Nope.
It stayed this. No, what they did was they added that he could lower defense.
Oh, wow.
That's it.
Oh, well, there you go. I stand corrected. OP.
One thing to
shivering.
think about is I do think that the great apes will get super attack effects, but you have to keep in mind that recently they've been giving these great apes, like for example Tapion, they greatly raise attack temporarily. So it'll only be for that attack in that slot, so it doesn't stack across the other great ape attacks. It would be cool to see, like you said, like a great ape that just stacks attack possibly, so that his attacks that get stronger the more you get super attacks over the few turns that you have them.
Yep.
I think that'd be cool.
Now, if you get that lucky RNG where you get like 3 turns as the ape as well, then yeah, you could potentially be hitting pretty hard by the end of that 3rd turn. So yeah,
They could also
go on.
they could also like get crit or something on their super attack effect, because I know like the LR Janemba, his rage mode, he actually has the this 6-year anniversary units type of super attack effect, except that it's also temporarily, just like the other graded forms. So that could be something we see.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. So yeah, it'd be very interesting to see what these units are going to do. Obviously, at the moment, we do have out a fan-made cards form for the Great Ape EZAs. That is still in the process of being made. So if you have not submitted an entry for that yet, do go and check out our Twitter and go and fill in the form. Give us your idea for the design on these Great Ape EZAs, and then you can potentially make it into that video. So let me just spam the link in the chat here a couple of times. And then, yeah, if you guys want to go ahead and give us your thing for that, and then you could potentially make it into the video. So the final topic that we have that came to us with that same update from the producer letter is something that could be nothing, or it could be something really big. So this is, of course, the mention of the Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan exclusive sticker that is being given out on Global. Obviously, can only be used for characters that have Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Goku in the name. So that includes the Blue Kaioken one. Or any of the Super Saiyan Blue ones that are Dokkan Fests or have Easy A's. This is, of course, to celebrate the release of the Figure Arts Blue Kaioken figure. But with the sticker being released and only being able to be used on a Blue Goku, that has obviously got a lot of people speculating that maybe we could be seeing a new Super Saiyan Blue Goku. And with Global having gotten the Golden Week units at the same time as JP instead of later on in the year, that leaves a gap in the global timeline. So, Blaze, what are your thoughts? Do you think we could finally be getting the first new global first unit in some time?
Maybe. I think it's possible. I definitely think it's possible because don't forget we also have that Halloween spot, which is like around the 20th or 21st. And 2 years ago is when we got the full power Frieza, and last year we got here the Halloween banner. So I think it's a possibility we can get a new Goku. I'm definitely open for it, but do I think it's gonna happen? I don't think so. But again, anything could happen in Dokkan, so it really all depends what they decide. But it would be again I would be so open to a new Kaioken Goku or a Blue Goku here. Sorry, because the one we have currently right now. He's good, but he's not the greatest. He hasn't aged out, the best because of the way the content is made, where defense is more of a priority. But definitely open to it for sure.
Yeah, Gail, what do you think? Is it just wishful thinking, or do you think there's a possibility that this could happen?
Well, I mean, it's all down to what we get immediately right now, right? Because if we get Kid Gohan, we're probably gonna get Goku and Piccolo, right? I mean, it's as simple as that, right? But if we do get Vegeta, that means there is a slot open. So that means it could be this SSB Kaioken Goku. It could just be another Halloween banner all over again. We know how that sold last year, how well that sold last year.
I mean,
so quite frankly, I think, it just comes down to which unit we get next. If it is Kid Gohan, I doubt it's anything. I just think it's just them doing promo material, or maybe it's a hint for the future, potentially. If anything, it's very likely. They could also, if they really wanted to, do a complete switch around of LRs and do this SSB Kaioken Goku potentially. But I really do hope it isn't just SSB Kaioken Goku. I beg, the last time around they didn't do a great job with it. Can you transform it into UI Woman? Let's do something different now.
Well, Minato, I know you're a big fan of Blue Kaioken Goku. What do you think of that slander?
Okay, so about Blue Kaioken Goku, I actually love Blue Kaioken Goku in his form. I hate the unit, but anyways, I don't think it means anything for Global, personally. I think it's just promotion for the form, for the actual figure.
He's just jealous.
I think what we can see though is possibly Resurrection F Blue Goku. But something to consider is that I believe Ice Seriously himself, he said that the next Dokkan Fest in Global was Kid Gohan. And after that last thing that happened previously with the baby stuff, he said that he was going to make sure that he wouldn't say anything like that unless he was confident. So I choose to believe that Kid Gohan's the next Dokkan Fest as well. It would also make the most sense. I feel like with these Great Apes and Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta returning and all that stuff, I think that maybe you could still see a global first like Blue Kaioken Goku or even Resurrection F Goku in the future, but not as the next, like in the next 2 days or something like that. Maybe for like the Halloween spot in November. We'll have to wait and see. But I think Resurrection F would make sense, honestly, because we've been getting the movie stuff. Baton Battle, we had the Resurrection F cards in there, and with Baton Battle, there's been, like, on set 2, we got Tapian and Rudigarn. Set 3, I believe we got, who was the units that we got in set 3? That ended up being, I think I forgot. But, like, those sets, the side characters end up usually coming out as, like, Dokkan Fest or LRs or something like that. So I expect something Resurrection F themed soonish. So that would make sense to me.
Okay, well, I'm going to choose to still hold some hope that maybe it means something. I think it'd be cool if that's why they did it, because it was a little clue. And hey, Kefla coming out on JP, bring out Kaioken Goku on Global. It'd be awesome to have them out at the same time. There's some sort of connection there, but I guess we will have to wait and see. Obviously, Kid Gohan is the one that should be next in the schedule. That's what we would all have been assuming was next if this post had never happened. So obviously, I guess we are just going to have to wait and see. So that is it for the main topics for this week. We will be going to a short break now. If you guys want to leave some questions in the chat, we'll come back after a short few-minute break, answer a couple of these questions, and then that will be it for this week's episode. So if you want to go ahead, drop those questions in the chat now, and we will go for a short break. See you soon. Okay, so we are back from the break. We've got a couple of questions here in the chat that we will go through very quickly. So first one here is from Daddy Truth DT. Says, do you think they will ever change support items? Many items are never used. So Gail, what do you think? Could we get some revamp or some new support items anytime soon?
Nah, I doubt it. I mean, they could for version Z. I mean, it's everything's up in the air for the version Z, right? But right now, I just don't think in the general scheme of the game, no, I don't see them remaking it anytime soon. It's rare enough we get new items. I mean, the last time we got new items were the New King items, right? And the Rat item, pretty much. But outside of that, like, yeah, they haven't necessarily changed anything. I think version Z is possible. You know, we're obviously starting off with the tutorial changing, maybe then quest mode, maybe then support items, maybe Shenron comes back, please, thank you very much. But yeah, I think I don't think anytime soon.
Okay, and then we have here a question from JC Gamer that says, do you prefer the lack of predictability with the big celebrations like how they did with the Namek saga, or some level of predictability like the Cell or Boo saga? So, Minato, I'll throw that one to you first and then to Blaze. So what do you think?
Joke's on you, I predicted a Super Saiyan Goku for real.
Actually, yeah, we all know Minato wanted shirtless Goku, that is true.
I predicted it, I was right. But anyways, I think I like the lack of predictability when it comes to this, kind of mixing stuff up and keeping us on our toes. Like, kind of like Kefla's next, and we're like, what?
Yep.
You know, it's kind of shocking. But what if it was actually an exciting character, unless you're Ginyu in chat, like Goku Black or something, and we just didn't expect it. We're like, whoa, Goku Black, new Dokkan or something like that. I don't know. It'd be really happy. Like, what if they keep us on our toes and we get something crazy for like the Dragon Ball superhero movie or something? I like the unpredictability and the type of stuff like that, and I would love to see it keep going.
Yeah, I would probably agree. Blaze, are you on board with that?
Absolutely. I mean, I remember back in the day when LR, what's his name, SR Broly came out of nowhere in the global game. I was just super happy. So I'm definitely like prefer not knowing too much and being surprised, because it just makes the game much more, I guess not more content, but you know, it's a nice surprise to wake up to.
Yeah, it's definitely much more exciting when we don't know exactly everything that's going on. So, and then for a last one to wrap us up here, I definitely have to pick this one because this is very on theme for me and the kind of stuff that I like. Funnily enough, we were actually discussing this during the break. So the last question here is from CamPhil99, which says, what characters do you guys expect for the Heroes celebration this year? So Blaze, we went to you last time. We'll start with you. What do you want to see from Heroes? Give us like 2 or 3 characters you want to see.
2 or 3 characters? Well, I mentioned before in our break, I want the Awakenings for Bardock and also, Gohan. I want to see Super Saiyan 3 Masked Saiyan Rose as an LR. I want some Easy A's as well for Tech Broly and Super Saiyan 4 Vegito. I want it all. The Heroes are just a really fun time. So Easy A's, LRs, and Awakenings, that's all I want from the Heroes collab.
Okay, Gail, if you had to pick some specific new characters from Heroes, who would you pick?
Man, I have to go with my man, Dr. Wheelo, bro. The fact that he was in that list of
my
characters
answer!
last time, bro, insane. What a man. We need him. But no, on a real, I take, honestly, Hearts is a great option. Of course, you know, he's one of the main villains, antagonists in this series. So at this point in time, at least, so it would be nice. Outside of that, I'd finally like to get my Goku and Vegeta easier. That would be nice, the Xeno Goku and Vegeta. And just generally, you know, you've done SJ for Vegeta. Let's add the Limit Breaker form and Gogeta Kaioken, please. Or VB Kaioken. Or Gogeta Evolved. We'll take any of them.
Okay.
More fusions.
And then Minato, who are your picks then, other than Dr. Wheelo? He's taken now, sorry.
Well, Gail stole all the answers I talked about on the break, so I guess I have to come up with something on the spot here. For real though, I would love to see UI Goku from the actual episode himself would be pretty cool. Like when he's wearing the Grand Priest kind of gi right there.
Blech.
I think we could. I'm trying to think of something else that we could see as well. Because Gail again stole my answers. I'm gonna say it. I don't care. I would love to see a hearts with the active skill with Deal's voice actor. Dude, I would be so excited for that. You don't even know. I would download it, make my ringtone or something, dude. I can't wait for that. Outside of that, I would love to see EZA for Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks as well, and some of those older heroes units would be very, very cool. So yeah, also Limit Breaker for Super Saiyan 4 Goku and Vegeta as well.
Well,
Can I add one more character? I just thought about it. My bad.
Who's that? Sorry.
Oh, sorry. I just thought about one more character I actually want to see here. If I could just mention Black Janemba. I would like to see Black Janemba.
Yeah, that would be.
We have like
Omega
0
Shenron.
Janembas.
Yeah, because another Janemba with a different name would definitely be good for linking up with those other units for sure. So apart from the Masked Rose that Blaze mentioned, no one else. But I want to see more of my Masked boys. So where's my Masked Super 17? Give me a Super Saiyan 3 Masked Saiyan. All of those guys, I want to see those. I want to see awakenings for some of the older, like those fusions. I'm expecting those this year. The fusions that came out 2 years ago, the Gohanks, Xeno Gotenks, and the Vegeks. I think those could all be really good. Post TUR Awakening, because they're pretty solid as it is now. And then, yeah, of course, the other one, there's the Masked Super Saiyan 4 Dark Broly as well. That'd be pretty insane. So those would all be massive buffs for the Corroded Body and Mind team, as well as all the other categories they would be on.
Yes.
So definitely hyped for those. So yeah, Heroes is obviously coming up in November. Hopefully we get another big hype celebration for that one. So that is going to wrap it up for this episode. Thank you guys for tuning in and dropping some questions in the chat and being here with us for this week's episode. If you are joining just now or did join late, of course, the episode will be going up on the YouTube channel tomorrow. So make sure you are subscribed and check that out to see the episode in full. So that is going to do it for episode 53 of the Dokkan Battle podcast. Shout out to all my guests, Gale, DBZBlaze, and Minato. I, of course, have been your host, the Masked Ningen. Shout out to Troco for manning the boards and keeping the show running. And, of course, shout out to you all again for coming out for this episode. So from all of us here at 59 Gaming, have a good one, and we will see you all next time. Peace out.